Welcome to Get Social with Yatra, and thank you for doing this with me. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. And I remember we met at Bob Cargill's event. Is
We
that right?
did. Absolutely,
Yeah,
yes.
great. That was an awesome event. I made so many friends. One of which I actually just ran into last night.
Okay.
I was at a networking event in Boston. I had this weird sense. Her like name came into my head. Kid you not. And then I turn around and she's standing right there. So that
Oh.
was awesome. But great event, great we could connect, and very happy to be here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I started following you after that, and I really love the content you keep posting, and you're so active on LinkedIn. So, also, I would actually love to talk about Monk, like what is that, and just a little bit of overview about you and the company.
Man, yeah, we definitely can take it from the top. I mean, anytime someone wants to talk to me about Monk or talk about my starts, I always offer a story. So for me, I grew up in Worcester County my whole life, grew up in a town called Shrewsbury, just outside Worcester.
Mm-hmm.
Had a really normal upbringing, played sports. My parents, definitely helped take care of everything I needed. Um, and growing up in a town like that certainly is a privilege. It's a very, very good zip code. I got a really good education. Very grateful for those things.
Yeah.
Growing up, though, I fit in traditionally, but I always felt like I was on the outside looking in. And I did have inclinations growing up that I wanted to be a business owner, but
Mm-hmm.
those would kind of mature later in life. All to say, my entire life changed on April 22nd, 2013, when I was a sophomore in high school, and
Mm-hmm.
my mom had a brainstem stroke after my high school lacrosse game. How
Mm-hmm.
that went down, we won in double overtime against Minnetonka Regional High School. I come back out to the parking lot. There's a huge commotion. I rush over. I see my mom's car. I see her in the car. She's convulsing from the mouth, white foam pouring down her throat. Uh, it was a shock, right? Like the days that your life changes forever or something,
Yeah.
when you witness something like that, it feels surreal. It feels like your life isn't your own. You quite literally feel like detached from your body. All to say, she was rushed to the hospital where we learned she had a brainstem stroke. What ensued afterwards was an extreme healthcare journey, one of which my family is on to this day. Essentially, my mom is on death's doorstep. That stroke should have killed her, according to the doctors. She had 3 days to live,
Oh,
but
that is.
she survived by some miracle. And what happened after that, though, was that she was in extreme condition, very much, not say quadriplegic, but couldn't move her limbs. At one point, she could only blink once for yes and twice for no. Breathing tube, feeding tube. It was a very, very, very severe stroke. So she was at the ICU, got stepped down to an acute hospital, then got stepped down to like an assisted living facility.
Mhm.
So all of high school, I'd wake up, go to school, visit my mom before sports practice or after sports practice, depending
Mhm.
on the season. Did homework, did that for 2.5 years. But it was in those hallways of the assisted living facilities that I would learn the skills that I think make Monk a success today. One
Yeah.
of which is empathy. Empathy for other people, their situations, being able to say, not only can I put myself in this person's shoes, but if that happened to me,
Mhm.
I understand how that would feel. And
Absolutely.
secondly was the power of communication. So a lot of people come visit my mom. She was nonverbal. People, they didn't know what to say. It was such an extreme situation. They didn't know much what to say. So I learned how to conversate. I learned how to talk, not because I wanted to, but because I had to. So both those skills would kind of lay the foundation of who I am today. All to say, to get on with the story, brevity is not my strong suit. Um, I stayed local. I wanted to stay local to be there for my mom. We eventually got her home to my parents' house, built a handicap accessible addition on the house, had a fundraiser in town. To
Mhm.
this day, she has 24/7 CNA and nursing care that comes to our house.
Okay.
Um, where it led from there, like I said, stayed local, went to a local college on a D2 lacrosse scholarship.
Mhm.
I transferred from that school not because I wanted to, but because I got kicked off the team. I lost my athletic scholarship, all
Okay.
because of I was driving a friend's car off campus. I got pulled over. I went through the stop sign. Uh, and all his marijuana was in the car.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's more to that story, but for this
Okay.
podcast, we don't have to go into it. But long story short, he'd already gotten in trouble 2 weeks before in the same car with a bunch of my teammates. Then I got in trouble. We were both roommates. Uh, the team was already on thin ice at that point. So for me, when people say wrong place, wrong time, I kid you not, it could
Yeah.
not have been a more perfect storm. So
Oh
I got
my
in such big trouble for many things. And because of that, my coach let us go off the team.
God.
It was the biggest rock bottom moment of my life. I sat there on the day that my coach and the assistant athletic director had a conversation with me. I sat there and I cried in the office, not because I failed, but because honestly, I had to go home and tell my mom that I failed. It killed me more to tell her what happened than to actually experience what happened to me. All to say the story gets better. I got a second chance at Clark University where I've gone to graduate and get my MBA.
Mm-hmm.
I love Clark. It is a fantastic school. It really provided the fertile soil and the community and the culture for entrepreneurial people like myself to thrive. A beautiful school, such a diverse campus, so many people from all corners of the globe. It really just taught you so much about a global perspective. And
Yeah.
fundamentally, a big Clark ethos too is you can do good and have a good business. So social business is a huge pillar of Clark's education.
Yeah.
All to say, to keep this story moving, went to Clark, great experience, fell in love with entrepreneurship, started a couple of businesses, then would rekindle with my childhood friend Justin. I was kind of on a spiritual journey, and I just kept seeing this man everywhere. Bowling alley, downtown, Worcester, the bar. My friends are running into him. But I was watching him from afar. He was doing really cool things, publishing a book, making
Wow.
websites, writing a blog, graphic design. I was like, that is so damn cool. I'm infatuated. So we got together one night. I invited him over. I was self-teaching myself video production and video editing as he
Mm-hmm.
was self-teaching himself all these other skills. So basically, we got together. He made a logo for my side project. And 3 a.m. in the morning, we had our first creation together, and we were jumping up and down for joy. Like the what would become the partnership of Munq was very evidently apparent in that moment. And it was really built on the backs of just joy, of friendship,
Mm-hmm.
of all we wanted to do was just get together, talk about ideas and ways we could execute them. And although Justin and I on the exterior could not be more different people, on the inside, our values, our compass, our like morals, we couldn't be more similar. So the partnership that would become Monk started that day. We decided to freelance together, did a ton of pro bono work. I've never had an internship in my life, but I had the
Gotcha.
internship of life. So I did. I gotta
I
write
did
that. That's
check
a
the
LinkedIn
monk.
post.
I
That's a
did check
LinkedIn
the
post.
Monk website as well, and I
Thank
did
you.
check the Instagram. I mean, you guys were doing videos. I really loved the one of the video was about the pizza, and then I really loved how it actually was. It was so good. I
Oh,
was just
Justin's Pizza
talking.
Party.
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin does so much, and he's like a Swiss Army knife. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I lead the business in like a lot of areas, but all the other ones kind of fall on him, and he's so good at each one. So Justin's Pizza Party was kind of a slant on corporate humor and just like appreciating him, right? So all to say, absolutely. But yeah, where I left off, just we got together, we freelanced. 2020 happened. We basically got to a point where we were like, all right, we should put a brand to this. We should launch an agency. So it's not just
Mhm.
Tim and Justin, the freelancers. And what we wanted that brand to be, honestly, all these ideas that we had, we saw the market for marketing agencies. And the one thread line that we saw was that all these agencies do fantastic work. Like, genuinely, there's some great companies out there that do what we do. But the one area that we noticed and saw an opportunity was that these agencies didn't put equal amounts of time into branding themselves. So we
Mhm.
had this idea from the very start that if we built not just an agency, but if we built a brand, something bigger than the services that we offer, maybe something cool could happen and maybe we
Yeah.
could get some momentum. So all to say, we came up with the name Munq. It's rendition
Love
after the
it.
monks of many different faiths. So what we learned through this, we're very spiritual people. Um, there's monks and sects of monks in every single religion. There's Catholic monks, Buddhist monks, Hindu monks,
Yeah.
even some small sects of, Muslim and Jewish monks. All
Yeah.
to say it's more about a lifestyle. So what we learn about this lifestyle is these individuals from all walks of life would go take a path less traveled to come to know themselves, to come to know enlightenment,
Yeah.
consciousness,
Yeah.
uh, and offer those things to others in the form of service. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we're young, we're being entrepreneurs, we're going off the beaten path. We're learning how to do this because honestly, one of the biggest motivations of why we started Munq was because not that we wanted to make money, but honestly, I we just wanted to like inspire other people
Yeah.
to be courageous. So we settled the name Munq. We changed the spelling so we can invoke our own definition. It was easily trademarked and searchable, so we own that term. And then the by changing the spelling too, the curvature just looks really nice. So we created a brand asset. It's a very like anybody can be a monk, as long as you believe what we believe, you're part of the team, you're part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
So we launched the agency December 21st, 2020, the winter solstice, the darkest day of our darkest year, all in hopes that the two young men that lead it today could bring light to a world that desperately needed it. And yeah, we've been in business 5.5 years,
Yeah.
and it's been the most rewarding thing I've done, the hardest thing I've done. Every day is different, but I just love what we do. I love meeting people. And I can confidently say, even within 5.5 years, even if this all ended tomorrow, we definitely impacted so many people just with our presence. So that's what I'm most proud of. And that's the backstory of me and Munq in a nutshell, in a non-brevity like nutshell.
Wow, so, so, so inspiring.
Thank you.
I really loved the term monk, and I was like, wow, this is perfect. And then I really liked the logo as well. And then I was just talking all the Instagram profile, and I'm like, you guys are doing amazing stuff. And I was like,
Thank you.
I need to talk to him. I need to invite him. I don't know. I mean, we need a conversation.
Yeah,
So,
perfect.
okay, so this takes us to our first question.
Yeah.
What does a brand first actually mean in 2026?
Wow, that's a fantastic question. What does brand first actually mean? I think branding is the long-term art of perception. We can't control what other people think of us, but we
Mm-hmm,
can influence it.
mm-hmm,
I think branding is essentially creating a space where like-minded people can come together. More and more people associate their identities with the products and services that they choose and buy. They
mm-hmm.
want to work with brands that share their values, share their interests, hold similar stories.
Mm-hmm.
Also, too, I think a brand is it's this living, breathing mechanism that lives in every single touch point of your entire experience. So branding obviously is not just your logo, your colors. That's a big part of your visual branding and your visual identity.
Mm-hmm.
But branding comes down from the way you provide service to the way that you train people to talk on the phone. Maybe it's thank you letters or little like treat boxes you send
Yeah,
to clients.
yeah.
It's how you communicate, it's how you talk.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically how you want to be perceived and how you want to show up. So in 2026, I think to be a brand means you have a deep knowledge and understanding and empathy and lived experience for the people you're trying to serve.
Yeah,
You are offering an experience from them from the moment they know about your company, product,
yeah,
service,
yeah.
organization to the
Mm-hmm.
moment they take action with you and then hopefully become advocates, right? So I think to be a brand in 2026 means radical empathy. It means relentlessly trying to understand your customer, relentlessly trying to understand others, relentlessly understanding what keeps people up at night, being responsive, being agile, and then as any brand, building a reputation over time. In our world of AI slop and duplication, it is so much easier now. It is easier and easier than ever to be
Yeah,
something you're not, to fake, to lie.
Absolutely.
So to be a brand in 2026, I think also means being human, being true to your word, saying you're going to do something and delivering and then some on it.
Right.
Um, but I think we're going to need more brand-led companies because people aren't going to know where to go and who to choose with a sea of options. So I think branding is the biggest defense against that.
Wow, this was totally something different.
Yeah,
That's why I really love people's perception on different things because everyone has different views on everything. So this was perfect. So
especially in our industry too, though.
yeah,
Like marketing, everyone has a different definition. So you're absolutely right.
yeah, yeah. So how do you know if a brand strategy is working or failing? Like the simple term.
Ooh, that's a great, I love that. Um, Obviously, brand is one of the hardest things to quantify.
Right.
It's not as easy as, say customer saw ad, landed on landing page, maybe
Hmm.
made some other decisions, came back, got retargeted, whatever. But
Hmm.
you can attribute that sale to a very clear marketing funnel.
Hmm.
Branding, how do you know branding's working? Honestly, for one, how strong is your word of mouth? Are you getting a lot of word of mouth referrals? If you're just, last year was, I think, our best year for word of mouth. It was like every week, I felt very grateful that there's some kind of business happening or some conversation going on. So if you
Hmm.
have strong word of mouth, I think your brand strategy is working. Two, I think it's conversating with folks. It could be surveys, it could be follow-ups. There's definitely more tactical things you can do to measure the success of your brand strategy. But as a CEO, as a founder, as a leader in your company, I think the biggest thing you can do is talk to people inside the organization and how
Right.
they feel, how they
Right.
perceive, then talk to people
Outside.
outside the organization and
Truly
see what
agree.
the two gaps are. So I think honestly, and we do this with our brand strategy work, that's a big part of it is stakeholder interviews. So we interview people in the company and we interview people outside the
Outside the
company.
company.
We might do surveying, stuff like that. But
Hmm.
genuinely, those conversations are so revelatory. So if you really want to know how your brand's doing, talk to people and see if it's
Inside.
in
Yeah.
alignment with the perception you want to project.
Right. Because I think a lot of people know that you have to talk outside the company, but you also have to talk inside the company, which I see people not doing it. So
No,
that's
you're absolutely right.
yeah.
Yeah, you just talk to people and you'll have a better idea.
Yeah. So how do you maintain a long-term partnership in an industry full of short-term projects?
Wow. Well said. Yes. So very much so, agencies had different models. We're very project based, but I think this
Mhm.
year we've grown into more month-to-month engagements, monthly engagements.
Okay. Yeah.
Retainers are gravy for any agency. That's
Yeah.
like where you want to be, five clients paying you X amount
That's
of
the
dollars a
goal.
month. Yes, very much so. You know where it's coming in. So definitely looking into more of that work. But long-term partnership, yes. So the challenging thing about agencies and running an agency, we're a commodity. Like marketing agencies are a commodity, and it's a very few percent. And I'm not even saying, Munq's fully in this, but like
Mhm.
it's a very few percent that I think actually do really good work, say what they're going to do, go above and beyond, deliver amazing results, all while being really creative. There's some like amazing firms in Boston and New York. I think that they capture all those elements. But otherwise, agencies like there's so many options, there's so many service providers. The second that any client could be us, literally could be, it's happened to us. It could be us, it could be anybody else on any given day. If
Mhm.
your client has even a remote instinct of a bad experience, their ability to switch or churn is exponentially higher.
Right.
The only way you mitigate that is just personal relationships. I think no project's going to go perfect, but holding yourself accountable. So, like, you never want your client emailing you about something. You want to email them first. You want to be proactive about
Right. I love.
anything. Never wait for them to email you to ask where things are or, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Um, all to say, long-term partnerships, I would say relationship first. I'd say accountability, a lot of forgiveness in some cases on both ends. And then just always making sure that you're going above and beyond, make people feel special, make clients feel like you choose them and that you're in
Right.
it with them for the long term, and then align yourself with organizations that will have recurring needs. And honestly, growth is a good metric for that. So that's how I would say maintaining long-term partnerships in a very project-based industry.
Wow, this is amazing. I
Go ahead.
also had a small startup when I was in India, but that was just like because I started freelancing and then I started getting more projects. So I just created a small company and just got a lot of other projects. And this was the one thing I was actually doing, like reaching out to people and, thanking them or, asking them if they need anything more. Like we know we are doing these stuffs, but I think reaching out to your clients more often before them reaching out to you is one of the thing I have actually learned and have done it. So
No, it's a big one. Always be the first, even if you don't
yeah,
think you need to send it, just
yeah,
like being on top of it.
yeah, absolutely. So what makes a pitch click with an audience instantly?
A pitch?
A pitch, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. So I teach this at Clark. Um, I hate the word pitch, but
Mhm.
we all have to pitch,
Pitch,
right?
yeah.
Pitching, it sounds very when you hear that word, you get very defensive. Like our
Yeah.
senses go up. Like, what are you trying to sell me? And if you're selling, our society equals selling with bad, which we know why, because there's people that do it wrong. They're trying to
Mm-hmm.
push the sale, trying to get the money
Mm-hmm.
without there being any alignment of a problem to a solution. All to say, um, I think a pitch lands when it leads with story, when it leads with empathy. I
Mm-hmm.
think that the best pitches are just stories in disguise, or rather, yeah, the best pitches are just stories, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So through that story, we can emotionally hook people in. We can drum up the stakes that, our product, our service is trying to solve. If this is like a personal pitch, why you're the best fit for the role. Um, but in any good story, we can establish emotion, we can hook people in, we can drum up stakes, we can show them that a better future is possible, we can show them that there's transformation. And with those transformations that any product, service, or individual might create, there's
Mm-hmm.
proof and testament that those things actually work. There's other people to say that these things work. And
Mm-hmm.
then I think every good pitch, every good story ends with a message that's bigger than the presentation itself. Like, I
Right.
think when you start, you have a very short amount of time to get someone's attention. When you end, you want them chewing on something, be it a good thought, be it a vision for the future, whatever it is, like your
Mm-hmm.
product, your service,
Mm-hmm.
yourself should give
Mm-hmm.
anybody who's receiving that pitch a very optimistic, ambitious, and better future should that thing be in their possession or part of their life.
You're right. I'm not very good at pitches, so I've always lacked that.
No, I don't
So,
think anybody is. Pitching
yeah.
is so hard. Like, and I hate that too. Like sometimes,
I think you have a lot of pressure on you as well.
yes, it's like, oh, pitch me. You got 60 seconds. It's like,
Ooh.
you're already like,
Pitches go blank.
you're already in a bad position in that aspect. When someone's like, whoa, pitch me. They're already saying like, I know that this isn't gonna work. So like, do it anyway, so I can like laugh at you. You know what I mean? So no one likes pitching. It's uncomfortable, but I'd say tell a good story instead.
Okay, so this takes me to my next question. So, how do you define social innovation to someone who has never heard of this term before?
Ooh. Now, see, that's an ambiguous term. So when you say social innovation, you mean like innovation as it relates to like social causes and like improvement of human life?
Yes.
Okay, social innovation. Yes. Big Clark thing. So fundamentally, we live in a capitalistic society where stakeholder profits are the ends to the mean. Making money in excess of your expenses is the dream. The ownership of capital by individuals is how you make it in what we work within. Um, what happens though is in a structure like that, you know, it's not necessarily on the businesses to improve society through regulation and other things. There's definitely some there's definitely some balance. That's the whole point of government, is to like balance the private industry. If one, all to say though, I think social innovation is saying that you can do good and have a really good business. And honestly, doing good is the best business strategy of them all. And I think people, especially millennials, Gen Z, I
Mm,
can't speak to Gen Alpha. I know nothing about them.
neither.
They're like brand new. They're on the scene, but they'll keep getting older. Um, all to say, um, I think social innovation is just saying that people care about the products that they choose, they care about the services they choose.
Right.
People do have a strong moral and ethical compass. So, you know, people want to know that their dollars aren't hurting, that they're helping, and that they're at least in alignment with a company, a brand
Hmm.
that is says we're going to make our money, but we're going to do so consciously. We're going to do so without stepping over other people or punching down.
Hmm.
And we're going to find ways that don't hurt people. We're going to find ways that don't hurt our planet. We're going to find ways that we can contribute to our communities. Because if you are a geographic business, all you have is your local community. If your local community is not doing well,
Yeah,
your business is not going to do well.
yeah,
So
of
part of
course.
social innovation, I think, is paying it forward. Um, Overall, people want to align with brands that aren't doing harm, that
Hmm.
are treating people with dignity, be it employees, workers, anywhere on the supply chain. Um, and all social innovation is saying is that businesses can do good and make money in the process.
So my next question would be, how do you tell a brand story that drives social change and not just sales?
Wow. Wow, that's a big one. Okay, I got to chew on that. Um, yeah, okay. I think any good brand story should activate somebody.
Right.
A good brand story should pull somebody into a movement. I think businesses have the opportunity not just to make they don't have an opportunity just to run a business. They have an opportunity to say something, to stand for something, to
Hmm.
choose a lane,
Right.
whatever lane that might be. And their role is to get people engaged in whatever matter that is.
Right.
So I think a good brand story turns people from passive to active,
Hmm.
and they then can join something bigger than themselves and something where they find community of like-minded people. So a good brand story shouldn't just make someone emotive and then emotive to the point where they transact or get the sale, but it also should invite these people to become active in these communities with things they care about and be participants, not just for the now, but well into the future. So good brand stories attach emotionally and they engage people for a long period of time to the point where they choose the movement or the lane that these businesses are choosing. So that's how a good brand story does that.
Well, okay. So my favorite question I ask all the guests, what do you think about AI in marketing?
Ah, yep, there it is. Man, it's so hard to say. Like uh, like on one end it's a technology, like now that the cat's out of the bag or the hat or whatever the saying is, now that Pandora's box has been open, there's no going back. So
No.
AI, it's here to stay. The
Mm-hmm.
acceleration of data centers across the world proves that. um in marketing, I don't know what the future is going to look like. I don't know what AI is going to do in marketing, who it's going to replace, if it's going to replace anybody, make things easier, more difficult, cumbersome. I don't know. I feel as though the one thing I will say though is AI in its current form, I do see some difficulty in people adopting it. It's this very new technology, but no one really has figured out the best way to use it. And you have companies that have made massive bets on it that aren't quite panning out.
Yeah.
And then also too, we have a market propped up by AI technology, and that's a
Mhm.
little terrifying because once that once that runs out of money, they're burning so much cash. Like once that runs out of money and there's no true value being generated, enough value that these companies can turn a profit, I don't know what that says for the market or the economy. But
Mhm.
even if, say, worst case scenario, there is an AI bubble, I still feel as though every bubble pops, but the companies and brands that are meant to survive still keep swimming even when the tide recedes.
Mhm.
So I think a shakeout isn't necessarily a bad thing, and it will at least point to the companies that are doing like good work. Like Google, for example, Google Gemini.
Hmm.
that's going to be indefinite. Like
Yeah.
Google's a massive ecosystem. Gemini will be around. It'll just keep getting better. But in marketing, I haven't found, I really love the deep research mode. That's my
Yeah.
absolute
Me
favorite.
too. Yeah.
Yes, it's my absolute favorite application of AI. It's what I think AI should like mostly should be used for is like deep research.
Research. Yeah.
So cool. I love it for
Saves a lot of
organizing.
time.
Yes, so much time instead of like individually good prompting.
Yeah.
Other than that, we mainly use it for like streamlining, organizing. Uh, a lot of times I just talk to my phone and take notes. It could be for
Yeah.
workshops, could be for anything. And then
Yeah.
I throw it into AI and it just like, hey, here's like a summary of what you said. So it acts as like my executive function sometimes. Other than that, though, when it comes to marketing, like there has to be a human involved.
Yeah.
AI doesn't have context. It doesn't have
Mhm.
societal or cultural context. It
Mhm.
doesn't even know what day it is unless you tell it. Like there's still a lot of work to be done. So I don't
Yeah.
think humans are going anywhere, but the emotion and an intuition will always come from a human. I think the scalability will come from AI. So that's my final take.
No, that's right. That's absolutely right. I just use AI for deep research. It's my favorite thing to do. I like
Likewise.
Claude. I like Gemini,
Yep.
ChatGPT. That's it. I think I just rely on these three more, but don't use
No,
it.
they
Yeah.
are absolutely some great tools. So we do a lot of consulting and strategy work. So
Hmm.
the deep research is just incredibly handy.
Perfect. So we just have like 5 minutes
No
left.
worries.
Waiting ends. So I just need to ask you the last question. So one advice you give to your students in the classroom about entrepreneurship or entire marketing or anything, like one special advice you give to all of them.
Wow. Oh man. I do have my like five tidbits that I refer to again and again.
Mhm.
Uh, I'll give you two just because I can't decide on one. For one, honestly, I just made a new Instagram account called Professor Hally. So if
Oh,
anybody enjoyed, yeah, I just made it. Just trying to grow my personal brand Instagram. I have a great LinkedIn presence, but
yeah.
trying to just do that in a video format, just on a different platform.
Hmm.
So if you liked anything I said in this podcast today, go follow at Professor underscore Hally, Hally, on Instagram.
Okay.
Plugged. All to say, advice one, literally talk to people.
Yeah.
Just talk to people, talk to strangers, talk to people at events, reach out to people on LinkedIn for conversations. The more
Mhm.
people you talk to, the more serendipity occurs, the larger your surface area for luck
Mhm.
exists. And you just never know. You really like the universe is so cool. It's so special. You
Yeah.
really never know that uh, your next big opportunity, your next partner, your next job, your
Mhm.
next romantic interest, even your next best
Mhm.
friend.
Yeah.
Like you never know who you're going to talk to. So talk to people. Secondly, and this is cliche and borderline corny, but honestly, like you just can't give up. You
Yeah.
really can't give up. No matter what you want, job, career, business, side hustle, on somebody, even really. If you care about someone, if you care about a vision, if you had something that's burning within you that you felt for years and maybe decades,
Hmm.
like you cannot give up. And when it gets hard, I think you're actually that much closer.
Yeah.
And when you do feel like giving up, know that that's like the final test. When you are at the bottom, when you are at rock bottom, when there's nowhere else to turn, when you feel that way, like keep swinging that pickaxe. Like you're going to hit gold soon enough. Like you are so, so close. So all I say to my students is like, if you care about something, if you love something, if you love somebody, like the only way you fail is when you stop. The only way you fail is when you give up.
Right.
There's no such thing as failure if you don't give up. There's only learning lessons. So, my advice as I sign off would be just never give up.
Thank you. I needed this because the job market has been so hard. And
Yeah,
sometimes you just feel like, oh my God, should I give up because it's not working anymore? But then something good happens, and then I'm like, okay, no, something is meant
it
to
has
happen.
to. It's going to. You
I
know,
totally relate with this. And
yeah. Well, you're doing this podcast and it's a lot of give. And give never feels, when you give a lot, you sometimes don't feel like you get, and it kind of tilts the scale. But like the more you give, like the pendulum of gratitude and righteousness like swings in your favor at some point. Like the scales have to
Yeah.
tip. So just keep doing what you're doing on this podcast. Keep reaching out to people. Keep talking. Expand yourself in the process. Like get out of your comfort zone,
Yeah.
knowing that maybe my next opportunity is just on the boundary of my comfort zone.
Right.
Um, but keep doing what you're doing. You're going to be awesome, and everything's going to work out. I send that your way.
Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you for doing this for me. You're amazing. I'm gonna follow your Instagram too.
Yes, please follow that. And
Sure.
obviously, I'd be a bad co-founder if I didn't say follow Munq as well. So I think you might
Yes, no, of
already.
course. Yes.
Okay, perfect. But yeah, Professor Hally, check it out. New page.
Thank
I have
you.
no idea what I'm doing, honestly, but I'm following my own advice. I'm taking courage. I'm saying why not. Um, so, but yes, thank you so much for
All the
having me.
best
This was
for
so
that.
much fun.
Thank you. Thank you. I learned a lot and thank you for
Good.
motivating me. It was a motivation session for me, to be honest.
I believe in you. You got this. Come on now. I love it. Thank you so much, and
Thank you.
we'll talk soon enough, okay?
Sure. See you. See you. Bye.